So I saw a post on social media a little bit ago highlighting quite literally some special tyres that Goodyear made in the 1960s. These were literally glow in the dark tyres, and I had never heard of these before personally. I know that especially people of my generation will have never even known these were a thing. When I first saw the picture, I actually thought that's got to be Photoshop, that's got to be AI, that can't be real, can it? But it turns out it was real. But there's a reason why, and I know this is a bit of a pun, but there's a reason why this was such a flash in the pan, a real bright spark for the automotive industry that burned very bright and very hot, but not for very long. And I must admit, I mean, I'll show the article where this goes over this. Haggerty.com does a really good job of summing all of this up. I'll read from that today for you guys. But, honestly, I think it looks incredible. If this actually worked, this would have really revolutionized how cars looked. I mean, I remember when I saw white wall tires for the first time in the movie Cars, I was like, whoa, tires can be white, they don't have to be black. That's incredible. And ever since then, I've always thought that, yeah, they look really cool and I'd love them and everything, but at the same time, it's about cleaning them as well. I mean, here in the UK, our roads are an absolute mess. Those white wall tires would become brown walls very quickly. There's a reason why tires are a dark colour. But let's have a look at what happened here, guys. What happened with these? Who came up with the idea? And why did they phase out? Why were they never a success? Let's have a look at what happened. In the late 1950s and early 1960s, Goodyear engineers were feeling enlightened, and their tyres actually were. The glow, unfortunately, didn't last. Sorry guys, have to read the puns. It's part of the article. It's the least I can do. More than 5 decades ago, in what the Ohio tire manufacturer called one of the most dramatic tire developments in the history of the industry, Goodyear unveiled a custom car accessory like no other, illuminated tires. Once the tires reach the market, and that could happen in a few years, auto stylists may use them to carry out a car's colour scheme, perhaps matching the tyres with the upholstery, Goodyear predicted in a 1961 press release. And it's not at all unlikely that Malady will want tyres to enhance their wardrobe, her hair, or even her eyes. I'm going to read that again. And it's not at all unlikely that Milady will want tyres that enhance her wardrobe, her hair, or even her eyes. Imagine, if you will, one girl telling another, but my dear, green tyres just don't do a thing for your complexion. When that day comes, it didn't. It will mean the whole new frontier for the tyre designer. Little sexist there from that, but it's from the 1960s, guys. What can you expect, really? Yeah, sexist definitely, but typical marketing of the era. And Goodyear did not stop there either. And you can see an image of it. Look at that. It looks like it's on fire. It's actually shining out. Looks like it's shining out the front, kind of where the headlights are there a little bit. And that might be reflection from something, but my goodness, can you imagine that? That'd be almost scary a little bit, I suppose. Goodyear's translucent tyre can be produced in any colour to match the car, or perhaps the wife's new outfit. Again with the sexism, but it was the 60s, guys, different times, said Goodyear development manager John J. Hartz, doubling down on the awkward characterization. Someday a wife may tell her husband, Charlie, go out and change the tyres. I'm wearing my blue dress tonight. Absolute madness. These conversations never happened. Regardless of what you might think about its marketing strategy, Goodyear's illuminated tyres offered custom car enthusiasts plenty of exciting possibilities. The creation of Goodyear chemist William Larson and co-worker Anthony Finelli, the tyres were made of neothane, a synthetic polyurethane rubber that combined the hardness of plastic with the resilience of rubber. To create the newfangled tyres, the neothane was poured into molds and baked at 250 Fahrenheit. That's about 100 Celsius, just over, I think, a temperature much lower than required to make standard tyres. Eliminating the more complicated layering construction of traditional tyres, neothane tyres were tubeless, cordless, and translucent. Goodyear could add dye to create rainbows of different colours, and 18 small lights were mounted on the rims inside each tyre to create a glow that was particularly bright at night. The invention caused quite the stir when Goodyear put on a set of red illuminated tyres onto a Dodge Palora and drove around Miami. It did the same with a Chrysler Silver 300 parading around New York City. just some more images. I mean, it looks color corrected. I mean, I suppose in a sense it is, but it just looks fake almost, doesn't it? Incredible. I mean, the cars back then as well, man, they were like spaceships. I mean, look at that thing. Look at the fins on that. That looks like it should be underwater, like it should be a submarine car or something. It doesn't. Car design has changed so much over the years. While Goodyear reasoned that the glowing tyres would provide an additional layer of safety because they were more visible in poor weather. I mean, that's an interesting argument. They oftentimes had the opposite effect. Since they looked like something straight out of science fiction, other drivers would dangerously hit their brakes or turn their heads to get a better look. Although the tyres never went into production, one set made it into the hands of Jim Street Skonzakes, who poured $750,000, which is $750,000 today, into creating the tripped-out Golden Sahara 2 in the early 1960s. The second iteration of a George Barris custom that starred at with a 1950 Lincoln Capri, I should say. The Golden Sahara 2 wore gold paint mixed with pulverized fish scales and was adorned with gold-plated ornamental works. It sounds like Aquaman. Sounds like Aquaman's car. And featured TV, non-working telephone, and a bar in the back. Hey, I tell you what, telephones in cars, car phones are much older than you may realize, and that is going to be a video I do in the future. See, making videos makes more video topics, guys. I love doing this job. It was equipped with state-of-the-art features like a remote control start, sensor-based automatic emergency braking, and the ability to drive with one hand using the Unitrol stick that controlled both steering and braking. Those newfangled Goodyear tyres, which Skonzakes refers to as glass, were the cherry on the sundae. In 2018, the Golden Sahara 2 sold at auction in unrestored condition for over $300,000. We refer to the car as a laboratory on wheels, Skonzakes told television host Gary Moore on I've Got a Secret in 1962. Everyone seems interested in a futuristic car, and the Golden Sahara is a very successful car at auto shows. People appreciate it. When the Golden Sahara 2 was restored following his death in 2018, Goodyear contributed to the restoration by recreating a set of European tyres. While the originals could be filled with air, the new ones are completely solid, meaning the car is only drivable at low speeds. Goodyear held tight to the idea that its neophane tyres would one day become as common as their black rubber counterparts, but that never happened. After 10 years of work, the engineers threw in the towel. Keith Buckley, who was a senior engineer at Goodyear at that time, said in a brief phone interview, with the promise of a longer conversation that never materialised, the newfangled tyres were doomed for several reasons. For one, while no low melting point actually made them easy to manufacture, the same low melting point also made them vulnerable to melting while braking. And while the idea of changing tyres to match your mood or your wife's outfit seemed like an amazing idea at the time, each tyre weighed around 150 pounds. That's about 60 kilograms. There's some people that'll weigh less than that. Wow. Meaning there was no such thing as a quick change. But wait, there's more. Cost was the big thing, but they weren't practical either. Buckley said the neophane didn't have a grip of the standard tyres, which made them more dangerous in rainy conditions, and it wouldn't take long before they were covered in road grime, which negated the illumination, and that was their big drawing card. That's still their primary source of fascination, even if they're just a footnote in automotive history. So there we go, guys. Yeah, Goodyear with a bad idea, as it turned out. I mean, look, I think they're a fascinating case study, but yeah, actually changing the tires every time you went out to match your wife's outfit, it just, honestly, it's one of the things that they just think of in boardrooms. They're like, what these guys need? We need different coloured tyres. We need every colour. We need rainbow coloured tyres, But it's just never going to work out. It's never practical. There's a reason why tyres are black, and it does work, If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They tried fixing it, poured millions of dollars probably into actually trying to get that off the ground, and it never worked for so many reasons. But yeah, we're going into this one. My biggest criticism really was like, well, even if you had them and they were practical, then the fact is that you're going to have to make sure they're cleaned all the time. Otherwise, they're going to get mud on them, they're going to get dirt on them, brake dust on them. It's just going to show up more than anything else. So there you go, guys. Goodyear's glow-in-the-dark tyres. Yes, they were a thing, but they never made it to production for many reasons, and now you know why. For much more motoring history and advice and everything in between on the worlds of cars, do keep it tuned here to themotoringchronicle.com, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell as well, and we'll see you very soon. Have a good one.